Okay, the final segment of this, let's talk about the importance of keeping emotions in balance during change. In about 6 or 7 of the modules, and we hit upon this hard in the conflict modules, when you are in conflict, if your emotions are out of balance with your intellect, can you really have any meaningful dialogue?
No.
If you're an intellect person like me, I'm just scheming and plotting and maybe putting out punishments. Where are the emotional people? If they're all in the emotion side, brain freeze?
Yes, and
Meltdown mode.
Yeah.
defensiveness.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes out as word vomit, as I call it.
Mhm.
Tears, boxes of Kleenex.
Yes.
And in change, that balanced emotional state is just as important. You've got to get them in balance. And in the book I talked about earlier, Switch, he talks about the emotions being the what?
The elephant
Right. And what is the intellect?
is the rider.
Right.
The rider. And if that elephant, what happens if the elephant isn't going where you want it to go?
There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Right.
I mean, you can encourage them to move in another direction, but when you think about the size of an elephant, and if that elephant has the mindset or is headed in a direction, there's not a whole lot you can do about that.
And how does it manifest itself? You had said it earlier.
Oh yes, it is. It's like the elephant in the room,
It is in the room.
and unless you acknowledge it, you can't move it.
Right.
And as much as your brain tells you
Yeah.
that the elephant needs to go right, if you don't convince the elephant to go left or to go right, it's going to go left.
And how does it manifest? It manifests itself in stonewalling.
Stonewalling, side conversations, alliances, shutting down.
Passive aggressive.
Passive
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Right. It comes in
Eye
all sorts
rolling
of.
and all kinds of
Yes.
stuff.
Here she comes again. She's
Yes.
going to talk about it again, right? And that's when we got to talk about the elephant in the room, right? So we can get it out of the room,
Yes.
right?
And on the direction that it's supposed to be in, the direction of change, the direction of productivity,
Right.
and buying into that instead of
Personal.
Struggling with each
Stuff.
other,
Yeah.
as you know, instead of
Personal
struggling.
attacks.
Yeah. Struggling internally in the group doesn't move the group.
Right.
It just makes them. There's an African proverb that says, "When 2 elephants fight, only the grass suffers." They go nowhere. There's too much. They're just rubbing up against each other constantly, but there is no growth. There's no progression.
That's a good saying. I like that saying. So,
And the elephant theme.
and so you do see it with the passive aggressive behaviors. You see it with the body language. And what I've learned as I've developed these modules is you've got to pay attention to the balanced emotional state. If someone is out of balance, you can't get them anywhere. If I'm all on the intellect side and I'm not paying attention to the fact that you're fatigued or angry or overwhelmed, we aren't going anywhere, are we? You're going to be sitting down on the ground.
That's right.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that imbalanced state. And like you were saying earlier about timing, I see right now neither one of us are in a balanced emotional state. Why don't we go take some time and then we'll revisit this tomorrow when we're more leveled out.
Right. Good. Okay, thank you.